The scent of roses and rain filled the car, a symphony of our 10 years together. Sarah loved roses, especially the deep crimson ones that matched the first bouquet I ever gave her. It was our anniversary, and I'd left work early, a rare indulgence, to surprise her. I imagined her face, the way her eyes would crinkle at the corners when she smiled, a smile that had been the anchor of my world for a decade. Our house, a cozy suburban dream we'd painstakingly built from a fixer-upper, stood silent under the gray sky. I crept inside, the bouquet held like a secret weapon of affection. That's when I heard it, a murmur from upstairs, from our bedroom. Sarah's voice, soft and intimate, a tone usually reserved for me in the quiet moments after midnight. I paused at the bottom of the stairs, my heart doing a strange, stuttering dance in my chest. I know, she was saying, a gentle laugh threaded through her words. I love you too, more than you'll ever know. A smile touched my lips. She was probably talking to her mother or her sister. They were a close-knit family. I just can't wait, she continued, her voice dropping to a near whisper. Soon. Yes, the baby. It has to be our little secret for now. It'll make it all the more special when we can finally tell everyone. My breath hitched. Baby. A baby. We had been trying for years, enduring the quiet heartbreaks of negative tests and the sterile sympathy of fertility doctors. A wave of pure, unadulterated joy washed over me, so potent it almost buckled my knees. She was pregnant. She was going to surprise me. I almost bounded up the stairs right then, ready to sweep her into my arms and weep with happiness. But something held me back, a cold, slithering tendril of doubt. The intimacy in her tone, it felt different. It wasn't the familial warmth she used with her sister. It was the charged, private whisper of a lover. I shook my head, disgusted with myself. How could I even think that? This was Sarah, my Sarah. 10 years of unwavering loyalty and shared dreams. I was being ridiculous, a paranoid fool letting a moment of supreme happiness be tainted by insecurity. I took a deep breath, forced the grin back onto my face, and continued up the stairs. The moment my foot hit the top step, the bedroom door clicked shut. When I knocked, her voice was bright, a little too bright. Just a second, honey. When she opened the door, she was radiant, her cheeks flushed. She gasped when she saw the roses. Oh, Mark, they're beautiful. You remembered. How could I forget 10 years, I said, pulling her close and burying my face in her hair. I wanted to ask about the call, about the baby, but I decided to let her have her moment. She wanted to surprise me. I would let her. That night, however, the seed of doubt, so easily dismissed, began to sprout. I suggested we open the expensive bottle of champagne we'd been saving. She deflected. Oh, I'm not really feeling it tonight. Maybe a headache. I watched her all through dinner, looking for a sign, a glow, anything. But all I saw was a subtle tension around her eyes and the way she angled her phone away from me when a text message buzzed. The next few weeks were a special kind of hell, the kind you build for yourself. Every action of hers was now viewed through a warped lens of suspicion. A late night at the office wasn't just a deadline, it was a clandestine meeting. A phone call taken in the other room wasn't for privacy, it was a secret. She became a stranger in our own home, an expert in deflection and plausible deniability. I was losing my mind, caught in a spiral of my own making. My brother, David, noticed. He was my best friend, closer than anyone. We had our weekly dinner, a tradition since our parents passed. You look like hell, man, he said, sliding a beer across the table at our usual sports bar. Everything okay with you and Sarah? I wanted to confide in him, to pour out the poison that was corroding me from the inside. But saying it out loud would make it real. Just stressed, I mumbled. Work's been crazy. She's a good woman, Mark, David said, his voice earnest. The best. Don't let work stuff make you push her away. You two are the gold standard. His words were meant to be comforting, but they only sharpened my guilt. He was right. Sarah was a saint. I was the one turning our marriage into a spy thriller. I resolved to stop, to trust the woman I had promised my life to. That resolve lasted until I found her crying silently in the laundry room one night, clutching her phone. When she saw me, she wiped her tears away fiercely and claimed she was just emotional watching a video. The lie was so blatant,
so poorly constructed, it was like a slap in the face. That was the night I broke my own moral code. I waited until she was sound asleep, her breath soft and even beside me. My hands trembled as I reached for her phone on the nightstand. It felt like a betrayal of everything we were. Her password, ironically, was our anniversary date. My fingers flew across the screen. I went straight to her call log. A string of calls, every day for the past month, to a number I didn't recognize. Many of them were deleted, but not all. Then I checked her messages. Nothing. The conversations were wiped clean. Too clean. It was the digital equivalent of a scrubbed crime scene. My heart hammered against my ribs. I memorized the number, crept out of the bedroom, and went to my office. Using a burner app, I dialed it. It rang twice before a man's voice answered. Hello? It was a simple word, but it was enough. The voice was calm, familiar in a way I couldn't immediately place, and it sent a wave of ice through my veins. I hung up without a word, my mind racing. Who was he? How long had this been going on? The baby. Was the baby even mine? I didn't sleep. The next morning, I confronted her. I tried to be gentle, to give her an out. Sarah, we need to talk. You haven't been yourself.
I'm worried about us. Her reaction was instantaneous and ferocious. She turned it all on me. Worried about us? Or have you been snooping, Mark? You've been watching me like a hawk for weeks. It's suffocating. I can't believe you don't trust me, after everything. Tears welled in her eyes, tears of indignation and hurt. She was so convincing that for a moment I almost believed her. I almost apologized. This was gaslighting in its purest form, and I was drowning in it. I was the villain. I was the one destroying our perfect marriage with my paranoia. But I couldn't shake the memory of that voice on the phone. The desperation to know the truth overrode the shame. I did something I never thought myself capable of. I installed monitoring software on our home computer. It felt like the final, unforgivable sin, but I was a man possessed. For 2 days, there was nothing. I felt sicker with each passing hour, convinced I had truly lost my mind and desecrated our marriage for nothing. Then, on the 3rd day, a log popped up, an email sent from a new anonymous account she'd created to another anonymous account. The subject line was Friday. My hands were slick with sweat as I opened it. I can't do this anymore, it read. The lying is eating me alive. He's so suspicious, and I can't keep making excuses. I'm going to tell him on Friday. I'll tell him I need a divorce, that I'm not happy. I'll make it as gentle as I can. Then we can finally be together. We can finally tell David the good news about the baby. I love you. I read the email 3 times, the words blurring into nonsense. Tell David the good news about the baby? My brother? Why would they need to tell my brother? Was he supposed to be the supportive friend? The pieces didn't fit. The logic was twisted, broken. And then, like a camera lens snapping into focus, it all became horrifyingly clear. The familiar voice on the phone, the way David had been so quick to defend her, to call her a saint, the way he looked at her sometimes when he thought I wasn't watching. It wasn't admiration, it was possession. I scrolled back through my own phone's contacts, my thumb shaking. I found David's entry. He had his personal cell, which I knew, and a work cell he rarely used. The number from Sarah's call log. It was a perfect match. The world didn't just tilt, it shattered into a million pieces. The floor fell away, and I was in a free fall through the wreckage of my life. The betrayal wasn't just my wife, it was my brother, my best friend, the man who was supposed to be my best man, my confidant, my blood. And the baby, the one I had secretly cried tears of joy for, wasn't a symbol of our love. It was the symbol of their deception. It was my nephew or my niece, conceived in the ashes of my marriage. I didn't rage. I didn't break things. A terrifying calm settled over me. It was the calm of absolute certainty, the cold peace that comes when you realize you have nothing left to lose. I printed the emails, each page a death sentence for the life I knew. And I waited. Friday came. Sarah walked in from work with a look of pained resolve on her face. She sat me down on the sofa, our sofa, where we'd watched countless movies and planned our future. Mark, she began, her voice trembling, there's something I have to tell you. I know, I said softly, cutting her off. I slid the printed emails across the coffee table. I watched the color drain from her face, her beautiful features contorting into a mask of pure horror. She opened her mouth, but no sound came out. At that exact moment, the doorbell rang. Punctual, supportive, just as they had planned. I stood up and opened the door. David stood on the porch, a concerned look plastered on his face. "Hey man, Sarah called, said you two needed to talk. Just wanted to make sure everything was okay." "Everything's crystal clear, David," I said, my voice devoid of any emotion. "Come on in, we were just talking about you. And your baby." The ensuing scene was a blur of ugly truths and pathetic excuses. Sarah's sobs, David's stammered denials that quickly crumbled into a full confession. The affair had been going on for nearly 2 years. It started on a night I was away on a business trip, a night they were both supposed to be looking after our sick dog. 2 years of stolen moments, secret calls, and lies woven so tightly into the fabric of our lives that I couldn't see where the truth ended and the deception began. I listened to it all, a silent judge in the court of my own ruined life. When they were finished, their confessions hanging like poison in the air, I spoke my final words to them. "Get out of my house." They left. I stood in the living room, surrounded by 10 years of memories that were now all tainted. The photos on the mantelpiece were a lie. The vows we'd made were a joke. I walked upstairs, packed a single bag with clothes and my laptop, and walked out the front door without looking back. That was a year ago. I live in a different city now, a place by the ocean where the sound of the waves is a constant reminder that life moves on, whether you want it to or not. I haven't spoken to Sarah or David since that day. I heard through a cousin that she had the baby, a boy. I don't know his name. I don't want to. Some days are easier than others. Some days the ghost of the man I was, the happy, trusting husband, laughs at the hollowed-out person I've become. But then I walk down to the beach, feel the cold water on my ankles, and I breathe. I survived. The betrayal didn't kill me. It just ended everything I was. And in its place, someone new is slowly, painfully learning to stand on his own.